of all ages, welcome on back to the Summit for North American Qualifiers. We're going to be taking a look at what could potentially be the definitive, determinative, and all other things starting with the letter D match here, as we're taking a look at a 2-0 lead for Digital Chaos over Root Gaming. I am at Lyrical Dota, joined today by Trouf. How are you doing, and what are you looking forward to in this next set of games here?
Well, hopefully change here for Root Gaming, because they need something different than what they've been trying the last two games. They need a little bit stronger team play. They need to be working together. They have Radiant again. They had... I never really follow who takes what in terms of first pick or side. Maybe you know a little bit better, but they need to make sure DC don't run off with the Aegis and do great things with it, because they've been doing that the last two games of this series. They've just been controlling Roshan. Their movements as a team have been very deliberate to add on to the D words. And they've just looked really, really good centered around the Aegis. They've been making good plays around the Aegis. They actually get the Lich now, which is banned out in the first two games. Root Gaming now take the Wyvern away from them, but DC, I think, are going to feel comfortable with the Lich Gyro. Gyro for the third game in a row as well.
This is actually going to be the first Lich that we've seen so far. It's kind of interesting there. You mentioned that. Shadow Fiend, Doom, Queen of Pain, Slardar, Winter Wyvern Tusk. It's kind of, again, felt like there's just been a few of these little changes, and this time Root are going to be the ones with that Winter Wyvern. It's kind of been a game changer, I feel like, in each of the ones. Maybe last game slightly less so. I'm also going to mention that I don't know if we quite caught that, but the Visage at the end of that last game, like you were mentioning, taking on down the barracks, and then the resummon on the birds to secure the stun on top of the Slark. I'm just still thinking about that and how cool that was. The Huskar is going to be banned out. Not wanting any of that cheese, as Digital Chaos are feeling pretty comfortable with where they're at.
Yep, no cheese here. And I think we need to see, quite frankly, a little bit better play from the support duo here from Root. I haven't seen really much of them get involved. The first game we saw, unfortunately, Stan King not be able to get much done with the Lion. I think that was more more had to do with just his place in that draft at that time. I think he did as well as he could with the cards he was dealt. But the Lina didn't really seem to do much for me for Derp, and then last game he played Tusk, which didn't really get all that much done either. I think we need to see a little bit more deliberate play and some better ideas in terms of what they need to do in the early game from Root Gaming support squad.
Yeah, definitely. I think you go back, you harken back to that first game. Alina, who decided to go down to the off lane, help on out down there. It meant that they were able to come on over and stack up the ancient camp more. But Digital Chaos responding to this, they end up placing a very deep ward. They're able to come on over and take the fight, take the TA 2 times in quick succession, and just turn around the whole dynamic of that game, because you invest very heavily in being able to get this stack and making sure that your TA is going to have a good start, and then it just doesn't end up working out. And then in the second game also, I just felt like it was a good, solid, well-executed game plan by Digital Chaos, as well as great rotations. This is also going to leave us with the Dazzle banned out, as is the Undying. Broodmother is going to be banned as well. So Digital Chaos really not wanting to lose to any of those sort of strategies where one hero can all of a sudden destroy your face. Trying to play this one as straight up as you possibly can. This does leave open a couple other heroes in the pool that can be picked if they wanted to. We haven't seen a Darkseer, I don't think, this series. Something that people haven't been prioritizing super heavily, apparently. Alchemist also conspicuously not touched.
Yeah.
Any other heroes that sort of are sparking your interest?
Trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, those are... I didn't even think about Alchemist, but yeah, he hasn't been touched. I haven't seen too much success in NA Dota Alchemist, to be frank.
Yeah.
The only teams I feel like run him properly are honestly the South American, specifically Peruvian teams.
Yeah.
When I've seen the North American squads try to run him, I never see it work out. But yeah, maybe that's why we're not seeing him in this series. But One Ranger picked up now this time for Root. There's a Clockwork. We haven't seen that.
He's been banned out most times. It seemed like they haven't been wanting to give him that option, and with the gyrocopter clockwork combo, that is disgusting. That's a lot of damage, and of course, if you end up catching two people in that, being able to throw on out a chain frost as well, it's just going to be a bad time in the pain train. This to me looks like it could be pretty devastating. I like the Wind Ranger pick. Obviously, there isn't a Slardar there as well to be able to amplify up the damage with the minus armor that comes out that way, but still an incredibly strong hero, and you mentioned it multiple times in the cast that you felt like this is a hero that is always going to be relevant and can really punish you for any moment of poor positioning and just take advantage of it.
Which hero was that? Sorry, the
Wind Ranger.
Wind Ranger. Yep. She's always relevant. The shackles is good from start to finish. So, yep, very, very strong. Very, very good mid laner. With the nerfs to all the mid laners that have been so strong, namely like Leshrac and Storm, even Lena, it just kind of makes the ones that weren't really nerfed that much stronger, like Wind Ranger. So, she's going to be good. Lich, it's a little strange to see Lich clockwork. It's not like your typical offlane duo. That's not to say Lich can't just like kind of sit mid and help out mid for a little bit, deny creeps there, stack a little bit. I mean, Lich can kind of go anywhere. I always thought for the longest time, like, pick a Lich, it frees up the enemy to go for an aggressive tri-lane. Because, haha, got you now. Lich is going to go dual lane off lane. We're going to take advantage of that and go tri-lane top or bottom or wherever you're laning. But Lich is actually not that bad of a laner in a tri-lane. I know it's thought of as, like, kind of weak, but if you're starting out in a dual lane, Lich gets level 3 faster than the enemy tri-lane supports will, because they're sharing experience among 3 heroes, whereas you're getting, you're sharing it just with one other hero, and you're getting additional experience with the deny. So if you transition back up to like your safe lane, then you're actually going to be at a huge level advantage, and then you can exploit that with a higher damage nuke in your Frost Blast. So it's actually not that bad to transition into a tri-lane. So you can't really do, at least I think, these weird tri-lanes against a Lich if you rotate properly. So something to think about. Crystal Maiden pick now for Root. Haven't seen that hero. I love this hero. I think it's really, especially as a core player, like, if you're a core player specifically playing a strength hero, it feels so great not having to rely on like ferrying out clarities or buying a bottle when you don't want to, because that aura is just so beneficial.
Definitely. And being able to have a big team fight presence as well. Obviously it's not best with the Winter Wyvern because you get the 70% reduction from Winter's Curse, but still being able to just have it channeled for at least a little while and burst somebody down, and then after the fact a couple of explosions might end up happening as well. It's all good. Tiny picked up. Do you just have to ban the IO at this point? I kind of feel like you do. Yeah, okay.
Well, they do.
Dire team ban.
Wisp is definitely good. Their lanes would be very, very strong. So I don't think there's anything wrong with banning that at all. But I feel like DC were maybe if their whole strategy was like, we need to get our Wisp tiny, they did it way too late, because obviously it's going to get banned out in the position, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're probably okay with that. Like, they probably expected that to come out.
Well, I'm curious if they're going to have another support now that they were hoping to be able to get through the pool, that because they end up having that IO band. I mean, Tiny, he, for a long time at the beginning of the patch, he was the highest win rate hero with over 30 games played, just because of how good IO Tiny was, but then also being relevant even when that hero wasn't picked. He doesn't have the highest win rate anymore. I think I want to say it's somewhere around like 19 and 16 or something without IO. Still not bad, but I'm curious what the second support is. Maybe you end up seeing something where you're tossing a hero around in the early stages to get that initiation that you wouldn't be able to find otherwise. Is that something that's just too gimmicky, or is that a relevant idea? Yeah. It's reborn things. Yeah. So the toss on in is like maybe an instant initiation hero. Probably not going to be techies, but occasionally hand grenade is going to pop out.
5 seconds remaining.
Chaos Knight.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, it is. But I Chaos Knight. Mm-mm. I think now as well with Earthshaker still in the pool with I mean that's the big one that pops out in my mind. Do you even need to
10
do that though?
seconds
Like that's
remaining.
maybe a lot committed. And maybe then
5
if you do end up
seconds
running an
remaining.
Earthshaker, if they wanted to go a little bit more aggressive in the off lane there, they have the ability to, because
Reserve
obviously
time.
once you toss out a fissure with level 1 Earthshaker, it's somewhat less capable of being effective. But Witch Doctor, all right. Hmm.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Hmm.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, very interesting. They have the snowball leveled up, so they're ready to try and take this fight. They're very potent at being able to take level 1 engagements, depending upon how this ends up going here. But we will see in a second. I'm imagining they're just going to move right on up this way and see if they can find somebody. The other thing that, of course, we've been seeing more often now is heroes and teams being willing to switch up their lanes more often because of the change to TP gold and how much that costs. Oh, Biryu is going to end up getting found out. The snowball forward catches him there. They don't have... Oh, there's the 2 seconds stun. That's going to be enough to kill, I think.
I am frost
First
free.
blood. The Wind Ranger gets there first.
Thirty seconds to battle.
Ugh. Yeah, I'll do a quick little introduction of the players as we do move our way on into this next set. Schwan is going to be playing on that Tusk. For Root, we have Willis is going to be playing on the CK. King is going to be playing on the Chris. And moving on up towards the top lane here, 747 on the Wind Ranger, and last but not least, Derp with the Winter Wyvern. Now, something to keep in mind, because they did end up all smoking up and moving towards the top lane, this somewhat reveals that, hey, the aggro is going up top, and they're going to send all of the rest of DC supports, as well as this gyrocopter, down to the bottom lane. Yeah. Well, and he's going to ensure that, you know, you have a pretty good lane here. Obviously, Tiny isn't the strongest laning hero ever. If you're able to find somebody with that Abatos combo, it's wonderful. But otherwise, it can be a little bit difficult. And considering that he has been getting that buff recently, 6.85 to the starting mana that you end up having, he is going to be able to toss out both of those spells very, very early. So there's always that danger, but I think barring a very poor positioning on the Wind Ranger's part, they shouldn't be able to find a kill here. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Well, so far, Clockwork, as you mentioned, the potential. Are they gonna? This might actually be a kill. Oh, the shards didn't block off, and the salve away. Oh man, that was really close. If you end up hitting that, I actually don't know if you can fully block that cliff off. It is a little bit wide now. Yeah. Oh, top lane, it looks like they might be trying to go on in on top of Bulba here. He does have Cogs, so we'll be fine, and that's going to be Arctic Burn used as well. So long duration on that one, and while you are going to be able to apply this pressure and keep the Clockwork at a low level, everybody for Root is going to be somewhat low level as well. The CM obviously can move on into the jungle and take on out a few of those camps, but it's a bit of a problem nonetheless. Clockwork level 2, the CK has been able to get level 3 and actually close to level 4, about halfway there. Crystal Maiden just hitting level 3 and Derp Derp still at 1. So experience-wise, if we take a look at how this has all worked itself out, DC has been able to get a good amount. 300 gold lead. It's not super significant, but maybe might translate into some of these kills in the other lanes or as we move later stages with people roaming around and making rotations.
Dire's top tower.
Stun, toss back. They're going to be able to find him. We also have the rotation on in from the Witch Doctor. There's the Paralyzing Cask. Might need a second bounce. 1-2 right clicks. Is it going to be enough? They kill off the Witch Doctor, but the Wind Ranger falls. All right, we've got Tusk in the area. Can Chuan find a kill? He does have the Snowball. It's going to be able to jump forward and find it. But look at this Tiny with the 3 armor coming out. He's going to be able to survive. Ice armor, full effect. Well played there by Biryu to keep his buddy alive. Oh.
Invisibility.
Yeah, that's a lie. The Mud Golems are a lie. We are going to have, again, Tusk invised up. Maybe going to be able to find Owie, but without a DD, it doesn't seem possible to find the kill there. They might be able to on Tiny. And need to be careful. Uh-oh. Gonna be able to find and stun now? Not catching both of them. Oh, and the Shackle's gonna be there in time. Can they keep him alive? Nice Iron Armor, but the final Splinter Blast volley is going to finish him off. No more TP rotations. 4 heroes in the mid lane right now for Root. They're all rotating on in for this, and this is gonna leave open bottom lane for TC to keep on getting the farm in. He's currently top of the net worth chart, 2,500, as well as top of the last hits, 35 and 23. 36 now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
There's so much pressure being placed on this Tiny here. They want to shut him down as much as they can, and like on.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Oh, and Gyrocopter actually did just hit 6 as well, so even if they do show up, it's a little bit scary. Alright, there's going to be 1 TP in. Finish that one off. They're going to have the Cask, though, to be able to hit onto Derp Derp as well as Stand King if they want to use it. No, alright, 4 heroes here. This is going to be a dead TC, and I think Owie falls as well.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's only a big problem if you rotate 4 heroes and you don't get a kill, I feel like. Considering they were able to get that double, it makes it, in my eyes at least, significantly more worth it. And I don't know, I guess time will tell. We have still seen the CK go 2-0-1 now with the double mango strat and building himself on into, you know, drums here as well, it looks like, as well as a full magic wand. He's ahead of the gyrocopter now. It's been a pretty decent start for him, and it's a hero that needs that good start as well, though, because he doesn't flash farm like others.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Incoming.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And I guess the other thing here is they don't know that Aoi is here, which means he can just soak up this experience throughout the entire creep wave and now come on over, get a couple of last hits. And that's somewhat a piece that's nice of this as well. Mid lane, yeah, they're just going to keep on being here. I don't know if they're going to be able to find this kill on Aoi. They're rotating around, actually. If they find a Reality Rift, he is definitely going to die. They're jumping around. They do end up finding Reality Rift. Stun coming on out 3 seconds. Oh, not going to be able to hit the Splinter Blast, but I don't think it ends up mattering. Maybe it does. No, last right click, they're going to finish him off. Meanwhile, Clockwork in a little bit of trouble. Actually, no, excuse me. The Tusk in a little bit of trouble. He ends up falling top lane. So a trade for a trade. And kind of even back and forth there. Tiny ends up playing ill as well on the Crystal Maiden. Excuse me on that one. The action all over the map as we're bipping and bopping all over the place here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
A lot of DC is here, though. You need to be so careful in this engagement here. We have Biryu on the side, as you mentioned. It looks like they're looking at the gyrocopter, at least for now. They do end up spotting him out. There's the TP away, and going to be playing the safe game here as they all back on up. The Frost Nova ends up coming out a little bit too late. Crystal Nova, excuse me, before they end up finding that Lich.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What have we here?
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Hook shot on in, going to be able to throw the gyrocopter afterwards. Call down on top of everybody, 4-second stun on TC. He's going to be a little bit vulnerable, but at the same time, everybody is keeping him alive off to the side. There's the Witch Doctor holding another toss on in. TC is the scariest little gyrocopter, literally flying through the air as he chases on down his opponents. Not going to be able to actually do find the stun on top of Derp, but he's just going to Arctic Burn away from that one. And then this little Splinter Blast as well. Fight recap. Quick 2 kills and nothing coming back the other direction for Root. A good engagement. Yeah, I mean, it's something that you always have to be aware of, is the level 6 as it comes up on the Clockwork. Maybe you don't end up being able to, you know, you think that you shut him down well enough and there's maybe a lack of communication or something that ends up happening where you don't quite know what level he's at. But at already level 8, you're right, they probably should have been able to be aware of that. Bulba making the plays though, and hookshot back up again. This is going to start to be a very scary time for Root with not a clear way to be able to get out of this. Yeah, definitely. And you know, at the end, he ended up getting stunned by the Chaos Knight, but that's again a problem where you don't have the damage to be able to follow it up. At this point in time, CK doesn't have his ulti yet, so while he does deal 100 damage per his right clicks, all he really has to offer right now is the ability to get up close on somebody, which is really much more about picking somebody off rather than actually being able to be a huge presence in these team fights. Once he ends up getting his ulti up, I think things change, and also particularly with the change to Chaos Strike where you lower down the enemy armor, that can be very relevant. But as for now, God, DC are just looking so strong. They're on fire. They might be able to take Route 3-0 to go on to the summit here. This is amazing.
Radiant's middle tower.
Particularly with that DD. Yeah, a terrifying big rock man. Halfway through the DD as well, he's hitting for 300 damage a pop, and he has that bottle. So the problem, of course, that you end up running into with Tiny is 1, attack speed, and 2, mana regeneration, and that's what the Wisp ends up solving. So I want to see how he's going to solve these problems. Is there going to be enough with just the bottle, do you think, or does he need some other mana regeneration source here? Ooh, Owie top lane. Making them work for it.
Crossfire.
Arms for the dead.
Incoming!
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, and this kill could be huge right now. If they're going to be able to find this, hookshot on in was a little bit sloppy there, but it's still going to end up being a kill. They didn't end up connecting with the stun. It didn't end up mattering. Huge. Lich ends up actually getting the last hit in that engagement, but this is a hero that cannot fall behind, particularly in a game like this where you're going to have the pressure applied to you constantly. And to look at the vision real quick right now that you're seeing out of DC, it's just tremendous. They're seeing everything that's going on all across the map, and they're going to jump on forward and maybe catch 747 here. With no hookshot, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to find him. Will end up falling, but maybe Tiny a little bit caught out. Everybody is here though. Oh, the Chain Frost gonna start to bounce around. Do they end up finding a kill with it? No, not quite. Derp still in the area, is gonna be able to turn around, apply a good amount of this debuff to Bulba as well as Yawar. They need to back on out now, I think, though, because DC is just so strong. The fact they were able to burst down that Wind Ranger at the start of this fight, if they get the if Root get the initiation onto DC instead and take out that Tiny early, that's a completely different situation. Meanwhile, not going to be able to find the Tusk with the Avatos combo. Did end up just throwing out that Avalanche and waiting for these Ice Shards. It's a little bit awkward, but going to be fine, at least for now, as they wait for a second initiation point. Stun.
Your time on display.
Aoi is just going to be buying time for his team right now, as he is going to end up dying. The rest of them get on out. So a little bit unfortunate there. You kind of wonder, had they just backed up after taking out the Wind Ranger and winning that first engagement, if this goes a little bit better. But still, they're in a very commanding position. I think that that's what you need to do right now if you're Root, and maybe coming on in and stealing off this stack is the next part of this little plan here. It's not a huge lead for DC right now, only 2,000 gold as well as, well, by about 4,000 experience. This can come back certainly. Games have been thrown from less.
Yeah, absolutely. Jump too, like heading in the way of even net worth 1,000 going its way to 0. And I mean, pushing up high ground is to feel mentally ahead, try to get a little overzealous and try to go for some crazy high ground play just because core hero is dead. It can really backfire on you, especially against good high ground defense like Qualifier and like the Ranger. And big thing that we saw there too multiple times is being able to be split up from your team by something as ice shards. Yeah. Again, that Tuskar and the ice shards were very accurate.
I'm just going to mention real quickly, Aoi immediately pinging out, walking to the areas and dewarding 2 wards that were just now placed here as well, knowing exactly where the vision was and what they needed to do. They've been doing a really good job of constricting the vision of Root, and right now they only have this one other ward that's sitting up here to the side, and everything else is just in complete and total vision control for DC. Nothing has been dewarded at this point, it feels like. Now, here's a question that I have for you for Tiny.
Jeez.
Given that you said that this build doesn't end up working as well to as they're taking out Roshan with the DD, it runs into problems with item slots. Is this going to be something that limits him in the late game, or is this still going to be an okay scaling later?
Oh no, it's fine late game. It's gonna have to give up something. That's with a bracer or a TP. Now it's gonna have to be both, unless he doesn't take the Aegis. So yeah, no, it's sell his bracer. Probably keep that map. It's definitely gonna need late game. Doesn't really. You get bots eventually. Might not even need. Thing that I think totally slipped my mind, but I was gonna say the supports. Oh no, Derp has found a lot more farm. Playing 5, but he's ahead of his offlaner. Tusk.
No. Well, and I mean, farm obviously not the most important part of this hero, but being also able to find those levels is really key. Like, he's the 5th highest leveled hero in the game right now, and you know, gonna be able to get that Winter's Curse off. Do you think that you just go straight Blink Dagger here, just to be able to find that initiation point, or is that covered enough by the other heroes that you have en route?
I think the Glimmer Cape would be just for the more reason that they have so much magic burst. It's not even actually a burst damage. It's other than the tiny, it's all kind of coming out slow. You see the Chain Frost call down coming. Very good. Obviously, Blink wants that. Does seem like they're lacking fast initiation. They have no Blink Dagger up on the rush into Ags, so don't have that super fast Jackal shot initiate. Tuskar's initiation's pretty low. One of the problems with Tusk Knight, while he has a very nice stun once it hits, bad.
And they're going to be able to find him off the Tusk. He's snowballing, but to what end is really what I'm asking. He is going to end up falling. Meanwhile, Root, realizing this, are immediately going to try and push on out the mid lane, as well as keep that top lane pushed out, because if they don't, then you're just going to be able to keep on going here as DC. And even with the Aegis, part of me wonders if they play the sort of more aggressive, go for high ground now, or if they want to just back on out, play more conservatively, and go for tier 2s. I guess with only 15 seconds left on the Tusk, they had much to ask to go for high ground.
Yeah, it's... Wind Ranger. Man, I would love... Doesn't look like it's... Yeah, if he can actually farm like a Glimmer and an Ags. I know it's a ton of farm on a lowly CM, but if you get it, man, the damage of that ultimate is really in.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's definitely one of those game-changing items. I think the answer is just you don't buy wards. Why not? Just they're bad items. Wards are bad items, confirmed. But Witch Doctor is going to be going for an Aghanims as well. Still a long ways away from being able to pick it up, but something that's going to be relevant in the late game as well. It just feels like DC's lineup, while Winter Wyvern as well as Wind Ranger, they're great heroes scaling late into the game. With the CM there, BKB's coming online later. It feels like DC might scale a little bit stronger.
Yeah, and I really like paired with the Clockwork. Just problem with Witch Doctor is you're trying to find the part of the team fight where you go unnoticed while casting the Death Ward. Hard as that might sound, but Clockwork kind of makes him. He want to focus him down, but he's the focal point of that fight. The blink toss out. There's a snowball. There's now.
Witch Doctor, they're going to be able to get the Winter's Curse down. I don't think this kills TC, and with the healing going throughout the entire course of it, Aoi having that urn as well, they're just going to be able to shrug this one on off. They've got the Alpha Wolf creep, they've got the creep wave coming on in, and while we do have a push on in this bottom lane, Clockwork actually, they might end up TPing on over and trying to take him out in a second. They do have the hook shot if they want to use it. It doesn't quite hit, unfortunately.
That's going to mean push stopped because they don't have the Clockwork. The other hero that they were chasing now TP back. No hookshot available, so I don't even know. Blade Mill. Kill though. That could have been bad, but
I was wondering if maybe they were going to try and TP on in one of the other heroes to finish him off. Maybe like you can sort of extend the engagement because you're not going to be able to TP out as the CK maybe. But yeah, with the with the level 2 ulti up. Definitely could have been a little bit scary.
Yeah, because Blade Mail, it is scary, but with that ultimate up, kind of divvied among your. I could have actually potentially.
There it goes.
Wait, no harm, no foul. Gyro is just very, very good. Farmed every single game, very minimal mistakes. It's almost got a BKB now.
Yeah. Well, and the issue that I feel like we've been seeing with DC in the past hasn't necessarily been in any individual skill problem. It's been being cohesive as a unit and working together effectively. And it seems like they've solved, well, I don't want to say solved necessarily, commentators curse, but, they're
losing least the game now.
Been able to have some type of, I don't know, maybe a heart-to-heart together or something that's brought it on back, and they're looking incredibly strong throughout the past couple of games that I've been seeing them play. Witch Doctor, the lone person out, but everybody is there to back him on up. Can they burst him down in time? Looks like they're going to get the long duration stun. Winter's Curse on top of Biryu. They do get the Clockwork hook though off to the side. Blade Mail going pretty strong as well. CM ulti there, call down as well. It does look like the CM's going to be able to survive throughout it. Bulba getting away on absolutely nothing. We do have a power shot is going to hit and finally kill him on off. Tusk also escaping on almost nothing. So 2 heroes dead on the side of Root, along with 3 heroes dead on the side of DC. Jump forward, not able to catch, as we do see the TPs out by the Wind Ranger.
Ooh, it was a 3 for 3. It should have been a 4 for 3. TC wasn't expecting, I think, or 10. Doesn't have the upgraded magic stick. He auto attacked and then moved away because he wasn't expecting. So nice bait. There from the Tuskar, and actually it saved his life. To everyone out there, if you're running away, try the last possible second, because even pro players will suffer about that. They will it's almost a cocky move. I get the kill and I walk away. That pick cooler if you don't look at the explosion behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and certainly DC are feeling pretty good, feeling a little bit comfortable with walking away from that one. I mean, there's the argument as well that it's just sort of more efficient because then you can get onto the next target quicker. That's kind of bull malarkey. I'm going to say that.
It was also just a great play by very last second.
Oh.
I thought for sure he added damage.
Yeah.
He's hitting 150 plus.
Well, key things to keep in mind in this game. This last little team fight, I think... oh god, they're going to be able to find out this Lich. Waller's punch down immediately. Can they kill? Yeah, 4 second stun. This is going to be a dead Lich. So beyond just him dying, Witch Doctor is getting ever closer to the Aghanim Scepter, 1,400 gold away from finishing that one off. Let's take a look at that fight recap real quickly. Nice little 1,000 gold swing. So while DC, I think, won that team fight, I think that Root feel comfortable trading pretty much no matter what to extend this game on a little bit longer. The Blink Dagger has been the one that Winter Wyvern purchased, so opting for a little bit more of initiation instead of trying to save the teammates. Chaos Knight finished off his armlet a little while ago. Tusk also has a Blink Dagger. Wind Ranger went for a Blink Dagger after Aghanim Scepter instead of the Shadow Blade that we saw in that first game. Anything else that's really feeling to you like it's going to be very important in these fights?
For which team?
Items on either side, honestly. Maybe the mechanism on Lich?
That's kind of... that feels like a good item, but not essential. Clockwork... Fine. Obviously would like mags. He's got 4 items. I think the biggest thing for D mags on Witch Doctor.
Okay.
But yeah, the big clock goes in point, then Doctor can kind of cast his ult, not feel too scared about anyone turning on him. Although there are a ton of stuns to cancel. That's DC's. I think it needs. Okay, beyond on the siege, I think is flying out. Yeah, it's flying out now. I was gonna say Blink Dagger Tusk, but he actually stopped mid mech, which I think. Blink Dagger now up on the. I think Root have all the items. They very, very close to having mags on which. I don't think they want to fight until they get.
What do you think about the choice to go for all of these Blink Daggers as opposed to going for a Force Staff to be able to get away the Clockwork? There's no Force Staffs right now on Root's team. Oh god, we have a 3-man smoke on over though. We'll hold that thought. There is going to be the BKB charge committed for this one. They are going to be able to use the call down. Lots of Chain Frost. All of a sudden, all those illusions are gone. Tossing on out, still alive on nothing. Armlet toggling for victory. Might be able to survive a little bit longer. Tiny does end up falling. Now as well, going to be able to turn around on Lich. Root might be able to really turn this one around. The CM ulti was channeling for a long time. Blade Mail going. It does look like TC might get taken down. Double kill for the Wind Ranger, and now going to be able to chase on down Boba. Triple there. So they end up losing another
Ultra?
hero. Can they get the Ultra? Do it one time. Nicely done there. 747, finishing them off on a full team wipe. And just like that, with Roshan being available, Root Gaming are looking in a very strong position.
Maybe they can take this Roshan. Fellas, double buyback. Get out of there.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Tiny doesn't. A lot of damage actually. Not very much armor. Got 10, but it's not like a ton. Gyro can't do it, is damn. You know, so they just use 2 buybacks to prevent. Well, maybe they can. I think if you're possible, ready to fight, but that BKB couldn't have come out at any better of a time. Like that was just perfect for really good armlet toggling, as you mentioned. Great shackle shot there from Win. Very, very big fight in.
And you mentioned you didn't think he could fight until Witch Doctor had his Ags, and he didn't end up having it in that last engagement.
He wasn't even really there for most of the fight, was he? He was kind of like off on the side, fighting like a fight. I'm not. Main fight was left and side.
All right, well, it looks like they're going to reinitiate. Oh, God. If they... Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about DC taking a fight right now, because after the buyback, if you end up dying back now... I mean, CK ulti isn't back up. They're going to find each other. Bulba in the middle of all of them. CM ulti going off again. Bulba eliminated from this one. TC BKB popped, but are they going to be able to take him on down? I don't know. All right, the Witch Doctor ulti getting channeled. They haven't found a kill in all of this. The buyback by the Clockwork. There's the Winter's Curse on top of TC. Willie Z might end up getting dropped here. Can they finally finish him off? 3-second stun on top of Tiny, and he's going to end up dying back. Now Owie dropping again. Walrus Punch him on up as well. They're trying to be able to find some type of kill onto something, but I think they need to disengage. All right, Bulba might be able to find this kill on 747, is going to try and chase him on down, and they do finally take him out. But if he ends up getting killed off in the middle of all this, it's going to be a dieback for him as well. All right, now it looks like they're okay right now. They were able to salvage it. Gyrocopter's strong enough. Still, though, this is really worrying for D.
Really kind of onto him while his armlet was still. I think if armlet toggled right away, wasn't lethal burn. Fortunately, he waited too long, and then any armlet side to the urn. If he lived there, it would have been a huge win there for Root. They did get the massive strip there on the Wind Ranger though, and Clock didn't die. So that's going to be a ton of there for Bulba as I'm Ags now. Oh, he did buy back actually.
Yeah, he bought back to get back into the fight, I think, because he was dead when it started. That's craziness. That's 3 buybacks expended in the course of about, what, 5 minutes roughly for DC. And while it's not as important as the later stages of the game, it's still very, very, very relevant. I mean, they have tier 2s still up. I worry about if they take and lose one more big fight, what ends up happening from there. They don't seem to want to be giving up Roshan at all, and considering how much they've been able to make use of those Aegises and prioritizing them in the previous games, this seems to be a very central part of their draft, and making sure that it ends up being prioritized over and over again.
One other thing too about that last fight, and I'll leave it, but it's kind of unfortunate you are tossed backwards, okay, but it was pummeled by the Death Ward by Owie, and I think actually can toss back BKB as long as it's 2 target. You can't toss almost if you have no target to, you know, get acquired. That's such a, I feel so weird saying that, but you have no target to toss him to. Can't do it, but he did. And as a result, it's kind of a funny interaction.
Most definitely. Well, 747 now going to have the BKB up on the Wind Ranger. We are going to be building towards that Glimmer Cape on Derp. And as you mentioned, getting this extra bit of farm, getting closer and closer to this item, it's going to make a big difference. Witch Doctor just now finishing off his Aghanim Scepter, and it looks like they're going to be committing to take this Roshan. And while this is a great positioning for Owie to be on up on this cliff, it is one of those positions where you kind of would expect the Witch Doctor to be up there a little bit. I'm wondering if a Sigil goes up, followed up by a Snowball, and they just get on top of him, if maybe they even lose that engagement without the Witch Doctor ulti. So pushing out the top lane, trying to secure off as much as they can, and we do have the rotation by Derp. I don't know, who do you favor in this next set of team fights here? Or is it all going to come down positioning?
Come down to positioning. They don't stop this Death Ward. It's just he should get spotted by the Sigil, but there can be panic involved. Where you're focusing, someone like a tiny blinks, or of course like the clock hooks in and you're focused on him. Can be a little bit scary though if like he was caught out up there and he has no escape because he has no force. I'm guessing Clock just forced. Yeah. Or he got lost in some.
The other thing I'll mention real quickly about this, positioning-wise, when the Sigil was up on this cliff there, they weren't able to spot out the Witch Doctor, and if they move it into the pit, they might be leery to do that because of the fact that it's going to get focused down and killed, and if it's in the middle of the pit, I don't know if it sees Owie over here on the far side of the cliff. Something that will be interesting to spot out. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, if you do go into Roche, very common to just place a ward right here in the main ward spot. That's one thing to be careful of is, I was just going to say, if you put a sentry up there, then you know as soon as they grants the now we're sitting up there. Again, if they smoke is pop, they know might cast this. He has no escape. This is what I was talking about.
God. Alright, Chain Frost's going to come on out, connecting onto several, but
Use
Owie is
Chain
going to
Frost,
end up going. Oh god, he ended up channeling the ulti. That's down, so even if he bought back right now, and he does not have buyback, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways, it looks like they're going to be able to take this Roshan potentially.
See, if that was his own foredeath, it's no harm, no foul, but because it was someone else's and he has no other escape, he just up there. So that's a little bit worried. Situation.
Well, and you'd expect them to be able to be sticking around. Like, they're trying to push out those lanes, I think, to make sure that they could take it, but not anticipating Root moving forward, I guess?
Yeah, it was just kind of... And also, he did use the ult. Now, if he comes back, he's still not going to have that. We might see some kind of snipe thing coming. This is a good opportunity to try to get this.
They don't have vision. Oh, there's Tiny jumping on in. The Winter's Curse immediately committed for him. He does end up popping the BKB as well. This does look like Tiny is going to end up going down. Killed by Roshan, actually. Nice deny there. 747 up on the high ground, trying to stay away from everybody else. It does look like TC. Oh, the CK able to get the Aegis, taking it away. Nicely done there. Also getting the kill off on him. It does look like Wind Ranger is separated from the rest of the herd, is going to fall to Bulba in the end. Actually, everybody from Root is going down right now. Derp is going to fall also. What is this initiation? Can they take on down the CK, though? Burning through a second life. It does look like it might end up happening. He ends up falling. Witch Doctor gets that kill. DC turning it back around after what was a little bit of a scary couple of moments there.
They did use the buyback on the but they also used the buyback in the Wind. We got nothing out of it either. So problem with CK is not a good. All your Lucian die to Roshan instantly. Kind of, you know, stifles the whole idea of the hero. That's what happens. He lost all his, thus lost all of his fighting power.
Did he attack Roshan accidentally with his illusions?
Yeah, like when you they kind of auto attack, and if they touch Roshan, they just die. And what happened? That's like all of his damage.
Yeah.
Despite him taking the Aegis and getting the credit for the kill, he just had no fighting power.
And I guess there, if you don't pop the, if you don't pop your ulti beforehand, maybe you don't get the kill on Roshan, or you're able to be focused away from it. Snowball forward, this could be devastating right now. Call down to zone out everybody else, and it looks like Tusk is going to fall. Just really good, not quite able to time it out with those shards absolutely perfectly. CM is going to move forward, but DC are starting to look in a really good position. Huge shackle there, if they're able to turn it back around, but there's the Witch Doctor ulti starting to zone everybody out there. 747 caught off as well with the hook shot. Lizzie trying to armlet toggle away and is going to make his way out of there. Another shackle, not going to connect this time. So Tiny falls, but as does the mid barracks, both of them. Tier 2 towers still up top. None down in the bottom lane. Big win for DC. They're looking really good right now.
TC's been playing very consistent. The Rock, like he's been making crazy plays. Solid with it. It's been paying off. Obviously, they're up 2-0, ready to close out game number. And it looks like Root are kind of just a little bit. Like they had a good handle on that. Off the ult. The illusions, and also the Tusk there at the end, snowballing, but by himself, kind of fed him.
Yeah,
they're down one set of racks. It's not the end of the world. They still have Wind Ranger, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, still in it, but definitely a big victory. And I do say the Tiny is that was a dieback for him.
Definitely.
Got Blink, Ags, he did drums, and now working towards. That's, I mean, he's 3,000 under K, who really has no farming K side of simple auto attacks.
Well, we'll see. The next item that's going to be coming up for Willis as well is going to be that heart. And if you get that, that's, I think, something that will really make a huge difference. Because you've just all of a sudden so much more tanky. You've got the ability to dole out more damage because it's all dealing damage based upon your stats. Such a great item on this hero.
Exactly. That's the key. That it gives you the direct strength gain. Heart, and then you're... so you auto attack damage up. Hit like a truck, so.
Tusk is going to end up falling here again. There was a moment where it looked like he could have potentially blinked on out, but again, he's going to be going back on into DC here and not able to blink out. Unfortunate that they end up losing him, and now they have a full creep wave. I mean, the top lane is pushing. They need to be very aware of the Wind Ranger, but she actually TP's back, so now no more pressure is going to be applied to this top lane. DC are comfortable pushing on in here. They probably would be regardless, even if the Wind Ranger was up in the top lane. But it looks like this might be falling soon. Tusk, unfortunately, does not have buyback. Only hero in the game that does right now is the Gyrocopter. They're going to look for some type of initiation. There's going to be the Reality Rift as well as the Winter's Curse, but 4 staff away, keeping them alive. 747 starting to burst through TC. The BKB is popped for both sides. Now Bulba's starting to drop very low. Here's the Witch Doctor ulti. It's going to start hitting absolutely everybody, as is the Chain Frost. They're all dead. Oh, good game, well played. Ends up getting called, and DC take it 3-0 to move on to the Summit 4. They are going to be your American team, the American Hope, in the American Studio in Los Angeles, December 9th through 13th, I believe. Goodness gracious.
Congratulations to them, as I believe this is the first actual land they've qualified for, right? I mean, they went substitute.
Right.
Cloud9, so and they've earned watching them. A lot of people question their abilities, but they seem like